Hey everybody, welcome to Dad's Den. I am Dad, this is my den. Today I'm going to do a quick review on a Western called Bone Tomahawk, released just a few years ago. I saw it, frankly I was fighting some insomnia one night and looking for a movie that was on my list of things to watch and was something that my wife and my daughter would not want to have on. And so Bone Tomahawk was it. So, what is it? Well, it's a Western, but also a bit of a horror film. Kind of mixes the two genres. It was directed by S. Craig Zoller. It's an independent picture. Stars Kurt Russell, who really dominates the screen in this one, which is probably not terribly surprising. Big time actor. Performance reminiscent of Tombstone, which is a good thing in my opinion. It So let's get down to the story. It opens with a couple of thieves having ambushed some folks, and they're rifling through their goods, and they hear somebody coming, so they head off into the bush, and they find themselves in this sort of a stone circle. Looks kind of spooky. They're confronted. They are, well, one of them is swiftly killed. The other escapes, and this launches the story. It's ultimately a story about a rescue, as the man who escapes finds his way to a small western town, and his attackers, his pursuers, follow him there, and they're pretty unpleasant folks. And so we have a rescue movie with Kurt Russell leading some folks, a relatively small posse, to go after the wife of one of the posse members who has a broken leg from falling off a roof, and to rescue Kurt Russell's deputy. So, character-wise, good performance by Kurt Russell. Richard Jenkins plays his assistant deputy, Chicory. He Good performance. He's sort of in the vein of the Festus, the Gabby Hayes kind of character. He's eccentric. Unlike those characters, you get a good reason, a good idea at least, of why he's eccentric. But he's a good character, good guy. You have Matthew Fox playing John Bruder, who is an Indian fighter from way back. Very driven Indian fighter. A little bit of a dark personality. Well played. The How do I describe this movie? It's really interesting. It's got a dash. It has a dash of Tombstone in it. It has a dash of the classic Clint Eastwood westerns. Not a lot of talking. It has a dash of Dragnet in it, which I'll explain in just a moment. And it's got some pretty gory scenes. So it's got a little bit of a kind of a grindhouse horror movie aspect to it. So what do I mean by Dragnet? The movie does a pretty good job of delivering an unvarnished Old West. It's well shot, but it has that spare feel. It doesn't feel like a classic Western from the 1950s. The way people speak, the way they act, the decoration, the fight scenes, they're not done for big budget cinematic effect. The fight scenes especially are brutal, they're bloody, they're fast. I liked it. It was good. Jack Webb once said, describing Dragnet, he said he wanted it to be as real as a cup of coffee. In other words, he was trying to tell a crime story. He did not want to muck the crime story up with a lot of, big dramatic speeches and all that. So Dragnet was very sparing in that way, and this one is too. But it has some really nice themes of love and loyalty and sacrifice. It does get brutal, especially towards the end. There was a scene, I knew what was coming. I went ahead and skipped through it because I'm not a big fan of gore. And it didn't hurt the movie for me skipping through it. I knew what was happening. So there is that aspect to it. And if you don't like gore, you're probably not going to like this. It could turn off some people who are fans of the classic Western genre because it does mix in that horror element. But I really do think it's worthwhile. There's even, there's a infamous X-Files episode involving some hillbillies that Blood Tomahawk brought that to my mind a little bit. But on the whole, I enjoyed the movie. I thought it was well done. It's a good testament to what you could do with indie film because it feels like it was the vision of the director. This is the movie he wanted. It didn't feel as though a bunch of outside voices came in and, tried to turn it into something it wasn't meant to be. So thumbs up in that regard. I'll also mention the fella who buys it at the very beginning is the great Sid Haig. Rest in peace. One of the great character actors, one of the great villains in TV and movies in the 70s and 80s. I almost didn't recognize him for just a moment, and then the voice kicked in, and I'm like going, holy shit, that's Sid Haig. That's awesome. So good performances throughout. It's worth a watch if you like Westerns and you don't mind a bit of gore, and if you like your Westerns to be sort of lean and honest and brutal. Give Bone Tomahawk a try. I think you might enjoy it. So hey, quick review today of Bone Tomahawk. Go check it out. I watched it on Tubi. I'm sure it's out there streaming elsewhere, and you can probably find a copy, buy a copy. So that's it today from Dad's Den. Just a quick review. If you enjoyed it, please hit like. If you like these videos, if you get something out of them, please hit subscribe. That would help me out a great deal. And until the next time, be kind to one another. Enjoy all the beauty out there in the world and try to have some fun. Bye-bye.